All right, good evening, coaches. This is Coach T, and I'm coming to you this evening with another episode in my series on Rebuilding 101, where we talk about many of the aspects, issues, and situations involved with taking over a new program and having to rebuild it from the ground up. In tonight's episode, I want to talk about sharing athletes because I've had many coaches ask me what my opinion was on that and what type of strategies I've had in dealing with the situation where you're at a school, you're having to rebuild it, and one of the tasks that you have to take on and accept is that in order to run your program efficiently, you got to share athletes with other sports. So before I get into that, again, as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button for me. If you like the content that I'm putting out in reference to rebuilding, hit that like button for me. If you want more content and information on program rebuilding, be sure to hit the link in the bio for my website, CoachTConsultingLLC.org. All right, sharing athletes. So you've gotten a new job as head coach and you've been tasked with having to rebuild the program. And when you get in there and you see all the other things, your head is spinning, you're trying to figure out this and how are you going to change that and how are you going to remedy that. One of the things that pops up that hits you right in the face a lot of times is I don't have enough kids out. And you see kids playing other sports. And you got to figure out how can I get those kids to play football. All right, let's flip that. Let's say you're blessed with great numbers because all the kids want to play football, but you have other sports that are in need of some of those kids because they're struggling with roster numbers. Sharing athletes is not a bad thing, okay? Now I want to look at different aspects of it. I won't get into the historical side of it, but I would say within the last 15 years, times have changed. It used to be football was king and football had all the athletes or all the kids, and the other sports were in need of those kids. Well, times have changed and a lot of kids are playing multiple sports. They have better access to more sports, and right, wrong, or indifferent, or should I say good or bad, it has pulled a lot of kids away from football. Football is a very physically demanding sport. And it's that one sport that is very time intensive, extensive, and it requires a certain mindset to play that honestly, there's no sugarcoating it. A lot of kids nowadays prefer to do something else and avoid that level of physicality. You look at the fact that a lot of times now kids are in PE and they play basketball all the time in PE. So you see great numbers when it's time to call for tryouts for basketball. And so now in a lot of schools, when I've talked to a lot of coaches, they tell me they go to basketball practice and that's where all the athletes are. And that's true. So we need those kids in football when you're trying to rebuild your program. So sharing athletes is big. So one of the first things I would suggest you do, and the strategy I've used, you get in with all the other coaches. You will find more times than not, we're all fighting the same battle. And coaches understand your plight. You develop a rapport with other coaches, basketball, football, soccer, swimming, whatever sport it is, develop a great rapport. Because what you're going to find, the coaching fraternity or the brotherhood is very, very strong. And when all the coaches are on the same page, you get other coaches pushing those kids to go play other sports. When it's time to have someone in your corner, it's great to know you've got the baseball coach in your corner. You've got the basketball coach in your corner. And those coaches in other sports also too have a great influence on the kids when they're kind of indecisive about wanting to play football. Those coaches in other sports, they live for the Friday nights just like we do. They want to enjoy that experience. And they're telling their kids the same thing we're telling our football players. Don't specialize. Play in other sports. Give your mind and your body a break from that one particular sport. Learn to use different muscles. Learn to use different body parts. Learn to just basically involve yourself in something else that takes your mind off of it. Because by the time every sport ends, a lot of kids will tell you they're tired. They want to see something different. So develop a rapport with other coaches so you have that backing and you have other coaches in your corner. What you'll find out is that when kids play different sports and coaches are sharing athletes, it tends to create this umbrella of all eyes on all the kids all the time, and it remedies a lot of issues. So for instance, if I have football players now that are playing basketball or playing baseball. Well, when it's time for, academic and grade checks, now that kid, instead of having just me, the football coach, monitoring his grades and monitoring his academic activity, he's got the soccer coach watching if he's playing soccer and football. If he's playing football and basketball, he's got the basketball coach watching his grades along with me. And I found in my time that helps with grades. It greatly alleviated a lot of the issues with kids falling behind academically. Now, what a lot of coaches have told me also too in the sharing of athletes, we help other sports, because if a kid is playing football and I'm gonna share him with other sports. I hate to say it that way. We're sharing them with other sports. We get physicals done. They have to have a physical for football from the very beginning. And that physical carries over throughout the entire season or school year with other sports. So now that's a load off of the other coaches. They don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to have kids that get their physicals in? Because we as football coaches all know that tedious task of trying to get kids to get their physicals done. So that's one great benefit. If you want to sell other coaches on sharing athletes, we can take care of that physical process for you, because once they get a physical for us, they're good for you when they come to you. All right. So again, I didn't want to make this a long video, but just be open-minded to sharing athletes. That especially when you're at a program that's rebuilding, more times than not always the case, but more times than not, other programs in that school are trying to rebuild too. So when you create that rapport with other coaches and everybody's on the same page, not only does the football program begin to flourish, but other sports as well, and the numbers will increase, not just for football, but all other sports. All right, coaches, that's all I was going to bring on the sharing of athletes. Again, this is Coach T coming to you with another episode of Rebuilding 101, where we talk about any and all facets associated with rebuilding programs. Again, please be sure to hit that subscribe button for me. And if you like this content, hit the like button. Talk to you soon.